Congratulations. What's this like for you to get this two-way spot and to know that you're going to be on that roster for the year?
Just probably just extremely filled with gratitude, man. I'm blessed. So, just take advantage of the opportunity and just, take it day by day.
How's it been just getting to know this team, your teammates, and getting kind of integrated with the group?
Yeah, I was thinking about it last night, crazy, because it's more so the character of the team. Like, you would never think they won a championship last year. They come in every day, humble, just ready to work.
Yeah, you guys have said that Shea comes in, he's acting like he's trying to make the team. Who are some of the ringleaders of that culture?
I'll say it's just a little bit of everybody, but Shea, Caruso, Dort, they stick out. Just, the main guys of the team, so they got to set the tone. Everybody kind of follows after that.
For you personally, just in your game, I imagine it's been a lot of information over these last few weeks slash months. What's it been like for you just growing your own game and kind of integrating here?
I feel like it's more so mental, like the mental part, being engaged, every rep, every play, every practice. That's probably the most difficult part. But, you train your mind, your brain to retain information consistently, kind of take care of yourself.
How helpful have the guys been? Have you been able to ask questions, and have they been kind of helpful in that regard?
Probably, they say there's no such thing as asking too many questions, but I definitely ask too many questions. Um, like, it'll be mid-play, I'll be like we call him two, like Shay, like two, over here, over here. I'll be like, and he was like, yeah, just sit in the corner or lift up. So they keep it simple, make my job easy.
Mark gave you a lot of credit for knowing your strengths. Obviously, you come in, you shoot with a lot of confidence. Just was that top of mind for you coming in and just showcase obviously your skill set, but coming in and just letting it rip?
Yeah, because you're playing at the highest level, so you don't really want to expose yourself by trying to, like, you never see me trying to play point guard, try to be like Topic or ISO like Shea. It's not me yet. So, understanding what I do at the NBA level is shoot the ball, compete at a high level, make everything easy.
When we talked in Fort Worth, you mentioned that, you still had work that needed to be done. Obviously, this isn't the end goal for you, but just how much extra motivation is it to now get to this point where you are on the roster?
Yeah, it's good for the soul. I mean, I could probably sleep a little bit better at night now. So I haven't had a good night's sleep since the college basketball season. But I'm just extremely grateful for the opportunity.
Who's the first person you called? Who are some people that you wanted to share that moment with?
See, my dad was at the game. I found out after the game. My dad was at the game, so we was walking off the court. He almost started crying. I was like, "Not yet, bro. Wait till we get to the car. Not wait till we get out the." But call my agent. No, call my mom. My dudes first, and then my agent. They were pretty excited.
You've had such a winding road to this point, three different colleges. Is there any part of that journey that you feel like maybe most grateful for, or was a springboard to get into this place?
Now, I feel like every part was essential to, like, me being able to handle this right now. So without those experiences, I don't know if I'll be able to handle what's coming from me right now. So all those, man, I'm extremely grateful.
Is there a place along that journey where this felt completely unrealistic to you, or did you always kind of feel like this could be a real possibility for you?
Nah, Coach Amir, my coach first 4 years of college, he passed away. That's a week from now, or next Friday, a year ago. But I never forget, my very first phone call, I was a senior in high school. He said, "Yeah, you're an NBA player." And I just came off a terrible AAU game. I only think I scored. But he was just saying just my characteristics, like the foundation I have for myself, it's NBA. So ever since then, I always worked for it, but he kind of instilled that confidence in me, like, okay, yeah, it's time to work now.
What's it been like kind of playing at Paycom Center a couple times now?
Oh, it's impressive, man. I didn't expect the energy. They say it's the loudest in the NBA, but it's pretty impressive. The energy, it never goes down. Everybody's always engaged, so that's impressive.
What's your relationship with Mark like so far? And kind of, is there an assistant coach that you've been leaning on during this process as well?
All of them are doing a pretty good job. No, Bryce Alford is not on the staff, but he kind of lean on him a lot. And then Mark, he just does what he does. Make everything simple. He's very clear cut. You know what you're gonna know. There's not gonna be confusion out of him at all.
Go ahead.
Piggybacking off that, is there anyone on the team who you felt like you can learn a lot from, or that's kind of taking you under your wing?
I think Shea and Caruso do a good job. Just have giving me a shoulder to lean on. Asking questions. I don't really have a problem being vulnerable to them because I'm a rookie, my first year, so I have no reason to have an ego or pride in this situation right now.
Talking to you guys this preseason, they've been talking about, still having that mindset of being the hunter rather than the hunted. Just as someone new coming in, was there like an early moment in one of these practices where you realize, okay, these guys are still hungry, these guys are still getting at it?
Yeah, just from day one, even before training camp started, the way they came in, putting in work, going hard, Chet, like everybody that you would expect to, kind of be complacent, but that's human nature. So they do a good job of fighting human nature, and it makes it easier for me to just follow along because naturally, who I am, humbly speaking. Yeah.
Did you have a pre-draft interview here, or what was it like for you signing initially with coming on for summer league and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I interviewed OKC. Actually, it wasn't even at the combine. It was at the PIT, the Portsmouth camp, and it was like a 15-minute interview. And I could just tell they were about the type of stuff I value. So I knew I didn't want to look too far ahead, but I knew when it came down to it, if I didn't get drafted, I knew where I wanted to be.
You obviously had a lot going on during this time, but how much of their playoff run last year did you get to see?
Oh, every bit. It's some great basketball play. If you're a basketball player, you gotta watch this type of basketball. So and it's crazy 'cause I was actually envisioning myself like here, like Indiana, like every team, you always want to envision yourself on the court because it's aspiration. So it was pretty nice. I'm actually here now.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Congrats, Mark. With Chris getting the two-way spot, he was just over here talking about how grateful he is and how even going back to some of the first meetings he's had with the team, he just felt like it would be a really natural fit. What has it been about him that has allowed him to kind of fit so well with the group of guys?
He's done a great job, and is off to a really good start, on and off the court. He's the kind of person that we want to be working with. I also give Sam and that group a lot of credit because he was a guy that was identified in the draft process, along with some of the other Exhibit 10s that we have, that were priority guys, in the draft process and after the draft, that they were very proactive with, and that they got in the fold. And, doing that well continuously allows you to kind of uncover a guy that, comes in and takes advantage of the opportunity that he did in training camp. So, our scouts and the people that are doing a lot of invisible work, they don't get a lot of shout outs, and oftentimes the attention they do get is on like the first round pick, but they're working the whole draft and the whole country and every school, and they're working really hard, and they do a great job top to bottom, and he's just a great output of that.
With Ooze, I mean, just given his size and versatility profile, it seems like there could be some great opportunities for him in the rotation. How have you noticed the way that he handles the moments where he's kind of mixed in with some of the main rotation guys and able to sort of transfer back and forth to some of those more featured roles like he had the other night in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we talked about that with Wiggins, quite a bit, and he's in that category. Like you watch him, prior to his time in the NBA, and he was playing those roles when he was a younger player. And then, he's been on a high level team the last couple of years and has fit into a more narrow role and does that well. He was last year before he hurt his wrist. He was really playing well in our second unit and was highly productive. And so I was happy for him the other night to have that kind of experience, but he's also been an impactful, blended player for us for a couple of years now.
This is we talked to a lot of guys this preseason, and they've mentioned that they still want to have that mindset of being the hunter rather than the hunted. I don't want to ask what you've learned about these guys because you've obviously been around them for so long, but what has maybe been reaffirmed to you in terms of their approach and their competitiveness?
I mean, it's just been their ability to be present, and to take on today's competitive challenge, whatever that is, which buys us nothing moving forward. But it is a habit that they've built, and something that they've shown the ability to do, the capacity to do over a period of time. So the trick is, not just understanding you can't rely on any of those experiences. They're all over. But you can take the wisdom from them, the confidence from them, and apply them forward. And I'm glad they're in that mindset, but now we got to go do it.
Mark, you had a Tom Thibodeau here the last couple of days. What's like just kind of having someone of his resume kind of around the guys?
Well, he was mainly with our staff, our coaching staff and front office, and yeah, he asked to come in. He's obviously sitting the year out and is traveling around. I give him a lot of credit. It takes a lot of humility for someone. He was going to like colleges in September, it takes a lot of humility for someone that's had the success that he has and that's done it as long as he has, to put himself in that position. And I didn't have, he's always been very good to me. We always had a nice cordial relationship, but that's the most time I've ever spent with him, which was cool. But again, I just commend him for, like I said, the humility that he has to kind of put himself in those spots to learn. So for someone who, again, he's got 5 times the amount of experience that most of us do, and yet he's out here with a notebook and trying to get every edge he can. So I give him a lot of credit.
Going back to Chris, he had just mentioned that he might be asking too many questions out there. He seems pretty curious and already seems pretty connected to the guys like Shea and AC. Just what have you noticed about him and his approach and ability to connect with the guys kind of early on here?
Yeah, it's kind of an important thing, and the guys that are younger are doing a good job with that. Mainly him and Brooks, because Sorber's out. Topic was here last year. Those guys are AJ last year, but it's kind of a moving train. There's a lot of continuity, and the guys, they know what we're doing and where we're going, and we're not skipping steps. So we're reviewing a lot of stuff right now. So it's moving pretty quickly. The pace of the way that we're implementing things, and that all moves quickly because of the continuity of the team. And so it's probably moving fast for those guys, and so they have to be able to supplement. And we're trying to do that before and after practice. With film, and they have to supplement on their own. If they have some gaps, they have a lot of resources, including their teammates, to learn. And so they're doing a great job.
What does that say about a guy like Shea? Obviously, just such a successful player, but to kind of reach to a guy like Chris to pull him along, kind of help him through this process.
He's always great with that. I remember he used to be, Trey Mann was like not in the rotation. He'd be out here like passing during his like low minute workouts. He's got an amazing spirit about him. He's a great teammate, despite being a great player. But we have a locker room full of, like all the guys are great. So those guys come in and they're eager to learn, and they work hard. They compete. They earn the trust and respect of the rest of the team. The team wants to invest in guys like that.
The other night, I think you guys had 3 or 4 alley-oops in the half court. I'm assuming you take as many of those as you can get in a game. Anything that you noticed about how those plays, any common denominators, how those plays unfolded in terms of either spacing or decision making, or anything that you feel like, okay, this is something good that we need to try to capture?
A lot of those are coming to the rollers, and it's one thing that has been kind of a new development for us. The first few years, that our team was together early, where our 5s were not like speed rolling guys that vertically spaced. We were playing, I mean, even going back to like Horford was like a floor spacing 5-man. We were using Poku at the 5. We were using Robinson Earl at the 5. Favors was more of a short roll guy. And so we didn't have, from a personnel standpoint, even the year Chet, Jay Will, those guys, as good as Chet is vertically, he's also a spacer. And so the rolling 5 is like kind of a new thing with Hart, and Carlson's really good at it too. And so it's kind of like it's not as fully seasoned and developed as some of the other skills that we've kind of had for 5 years. And so we're getting there on it, but the guys are doing a good job of finding those plays more and more. And it's certainly a priority for us. It's another way to space the floor.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mark.
Mark.